Hi everyone. I finally got all the Scribner reading series books in, and like I mentioned in the last video, I'm missing grades 5 and grade 6 because I'm still looking for them fairly cheap. Grades 1 or grades 2 and grades 3 have 2 books to them, and their Share a Smile and Look Around You is the grade 2, and you can tell because on the back, like this one says is grade 2, book 2, and then this one right here will say grade 2, book 1. Alright, and inside of these are cute little stories, and so far all the stories that he's read has taught him something, or like they have like a moral thing to them. Like Camp Fun was about not being embarrassed of who you are or what you need. Mud in My Socks is not believing everything you hear. No Pickles. This was just a funny story. And my son thought it was really about pickles, and Pickles was a cat. But anyway, and then you have a bunch of these throughout. There's like one after every story, but like they have like reading rules, and then the kids make up sentences. So my son has a reading notebook. Hold on a second. He has one of these that I've put paper in, and he writes the sentences out in here. Okay, and then Look Around You is the second book for grade 2. Excuse me. And here are the stories for it. Hopefully it's not backwards for you guys. It's got stories and it's got poems. Alright, and then here's Unit 1. Oops, just hit myself in the face. Alright, and the story is Midge and Fred. Alright. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe look at the text. Text has gotten smaller. And it's even got part 2. So 7, 8, 10, 12. So there's 12 pages to this story. And if you notice, the words are smaller than in here. In book 1, this is the first story in book 1. And the first story in book 1 is 4 pages. So this is the first story in book 2, and this is the first story in book 1. So there's a difference. Alright, and then it even has like real life stories in this one also. And if you notice, this is how the boxes look now. So have your rules, but no sentences. And I'll show you why. They have at the end, let me see if I can find one. Here's another one of those. Helps with the reading. This is a cute little story. Alright, so it says steps to follow when you first meet a new word. You say the word, look at the word, read the sentence in which the word appears. Steps to follow when you write, pre-writing, before you write, writing, and then revising. Copy your work on a clean sheet of paper. So they have rules for learning a new word and rules for writing. And it even talks about using marks, starting a paragraph, add this, and stuff like that for editing. Alright, so anyway, the reason why they don't have sentences is because, where's it at? Later on, they start. Look how cute that is. Some of these pictures are just really exciting and really cute. My son really likes the pictures. Okay, write about it. Like right here, they have a write about it thing after the review questions. So it says, write about it. Morris has a cold. Boris took care of Morris. Who takes care of you when you get sick? How do they help you? Write a paragraph about it. So they go from making up sentences in here to writing about it, doing a paragraph. So I thought that was really neat. And like there's even like little activities. It says you can make a puppet, and you need 2 paper plates, not the waxy kind, paste, glue or stapler, scissors, crayons or colored pencils, construction paper, scraps of fabric, yarn, or other odds and ends. And then it walks them through how to make a puppet. And they read all these instructions themselves. And I thought that was really fun because it shows them like you need to read to be able to do this and so forth. But this curriculum's working out really well for my my son. So there's the 2 for 2nd grade, or level 2, whatever, however you want to say it. All right, and then this is 3rd. Okay, and okay, I showed you the last story in this, so you can see what the last story looks like. Okay, that's the glossary. And this has unit reviews in it also. So there's a unit review. Alright. So let me see our last story. Let me get to the beginning of it. It's fairly long. Alright, so it's called Nate the Great and the Stick Case. Alright. There's that spread. And I found these, I went on Amazon and looked for them. See, the stories are fairly longer, but the pictures are still really cute. Yep, it's still going. So this story you might break up into a couple days if you're using this with a child with dyslexia or any other special cases. But then you have your review, your check for understanding, and then you have your write about it. It says, how good a detective are you? Think about a time when you lost something at home. Describe the steps you went through to find it. So that is the write about it for that one. Alright, so that's 2. And then we go into the first book for 3. And here's the stories, the poems, and all that's in there. Okay. And like he doesn't fight me on his writing or any of that when it comes to this. Alright, and it says strategies to use when you meet a new word and when you write. So it has the same strategies as in the last book in 2. And it even has the editing marks. Alright, so this first one is pet problems. And this is how it starts off. There's that. Alright, and the story is called The Baker's Cat. You see the wording is smaller. And how I got started on these books was we found the first one. We found this one at the Goodwill. Whenever our town still had a Goodwill, I found it there for 99 cents. I was like, huh, I can use that. So I picked it up. Picked it up last year, and I just started using it this year. All right, so it has the check for understanding, and then it has phonics decoding and consonant clusters. It says, say the words blue bloom. Do you hear the difference in the way the words begin? And so forth. So there's that. And then here's the next page of it. So that'll help. Okay, and then we have the next story is Parakeets and Peach Pies. Okay, and then it has the check for understanding, and the question, and it went from 3 questions to 4, and it says write about it. Write 3 sentences that tell about funny problems zoo animals might get into. You could write about these animals: a tiger, a kangaroo, a panda, or a monkey. And each sentence use some words that begin with the same sound as the animal's name. So that's fun. Alright, so further back, let's go to the last story. They even have a thing in here for finger multiplication. A story in here about finger multiplication. Okay, but anyway, last story. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, it even talks about similes. Okay, I think this is the last story. Alright, so this is Maurice's room. Everything off the floor. So you can see how tiny the writing is now. I just love the illustrations. Alright, and then you have the check for understanding, and it's up to 5 questions. And then you have a think about it, a write about it, and a read about it. Right here. Alright, so then the second book for grade 3 starts off. I'll show you the stories in here first. There's the stories. Didn't plan on it being the video being long, but I don't think you ever do plan on it being very long, do you? Alright. Okay, and it goes over the same thing. Strategies when you see a new word. Strategies to use when you write. And the first story is, in which piglet meets a heffalump? In which piglet meets a heffalump? Oh, it's Winnie the Pooh. And if you see like very little pictures, starting to get very little pictures, if any. A lot of writing on a page. And still going. So again, this story you might break up into a couple days. And it has your check for understanding and you write about it. It says, Pooh and Piglet did not catch a heffalump. They did not even see one. That is because a heffalump is not a real animal, of course. If there were such a creature, what do you think it would look like? Write a paragraph describing a heffalump. Alright, and then it has the phonics decoding in it, just like the last book. Okay. The story of the singing bear, Teddy. The story of Teddy, the singing bear. This one even has a little song in it. And then you have, that was fairly short, so you have your check for understanding, and you write about it. And then you have a poem, it's called Footprints. Alright, so, and you have study skills. And this is talking about reading maps. Alright, and then it has reading a map, and it has things right here for them to do. Okay. And let's go back here to last story. Is that the last story? Yep. All right, and the last story is Just a Taste, Auto Applesauce. Applesauce and eggs. And again, this is a fairly long story, so you might split it up into a few days. Like long stories like this, we might take like 3 days to do or whatever. And then you have to think about it, write about it, and read about it. Okay? And then you have your glossary in the back. So you can even get vocab out of here. All right, so then we go into, this is 4th grade. And it's Find Your Way. And it's only one book. It only has one book to it. And here's the stories, poems, and all that. And it has 6 units in it. And again, it starts off with the strategies to when you meet a new word and when you write. Okay. And this starts off the 3 Mr. P's. And it even has some highlighted words. So you can use that for vocab. Do it this way. This book's heavy. All right, and then you have your check for understanding and your write about it. And the write about it for this, it says, bird sanctuaries are places where birds are supposed to be protected from being harmed by animals and humans. The pelicans in this story, however, were attacked by humans in the sanctuary. Imagine that you were in charge of the sanctuary. How would you prevent something like this from happening again? Write a paragraph explaining what you would do to ensure the safety of the birds in the sanctuary. So, and it has vocabulary language, and it talks about looking for context clues. Okay, and then I'll show you the next story. This is Breeds of Dogs. Right, and then it has check for understanding. So again, that was just a fairly short story. They don't have a write about it in this one. All right, and then it has like a true story. Cindy, a hearing ear dog. And it even has like actual pictures. And you see how they're doing this one. And then you have your check for understanding and you write about it. All right, and the last story in this one is the search for delicious, defining delicious. Okay. All right, and it says you have your check for understanding and your write about it. It says write your own definitions in decreased style of the words listed below. When you're done, compare them with classmates' definitions. Do you agree on any? So, and then there's the words. All right, and then we have grade 7. Okay, and there's this one. Okay. There's 6 units, just like in the last one. All right, and this one is The Great Experimenter. You see how tiny the words have gotten? But the pictures are still gorgeous. And then you still have your check for understanding and write about it. It says choose one of the episodes in the great experiment, rewrite it, in play format. That's exciting. All right, and this one is Into the Tunnel. Love the illustrations. Okay, and you have your check for understanding and you write about it. And this write about it is, after his experience, would MC want to have the tunnel blocked up so that nobody could swim through it? Write a paragraph from MC's point of view. State whether or not the tunnel should be closed. Then give your reasons. All right. So then let's check the, has a handbook of study and reference skills. How to use this handbook. This guide contains some of the important study and reference skills that you have learned in school. The skills are presented in 3 main parts. Part 1, reading and studying your textbooks. Part 2, finding what you want in the library. And Part 3, using reference books. It's pretty cool. Okay, then you have your glossary back here. All right, last story is Beauty, a retelling of the story of Beauty and the Beast. So it's a retelling. And again, the illustrations are just beautiful. All right, and you have your your check for understanding and your write about it. If Beauty could write a letter to her father, what do you think she might say about her stay in the castle? Write a letter from Beauty to her father. Decide whether or not you think she would want to appear cheerful or unhappy. So that is the level, the grade 7. And this is grade 8. Okay. And the contents. Okay. And again, it has 6 units in it. Okay, and it even starts off with the same thing. When you come upon strategies to use when you meet a new world, and then strategies to use when you write. All right, and this one's looking for signs of life. It's a story, and it says it takes place January 1st, 1850. Okay, and then you have your check for understanding. It has 7 questions. And then this story is told from the point of view of the main character, Meribah. Write another story from the point of view of the stranger during the fire-making instruction. Let the reader know when the stranger is thinking. And then it talks about vocabulary language, synonyms, and antonyms. All right, and the next story is No Escort. So you see the illustrations better. All right, and then the write about it for the next story is, what do you suppose happened to the boy's father after he was captured by the cowboys? Write a paragraph or 2 that tells what might have happened to him. All right, and then go to the last story. What is this? Let's see what this part is. Handbook of Study and Reference Skills. Okay, so it has that in the back of this one also. Then you have your glossary. Okay, and this story is, find the beginning of it. The Hobbit. Riddles in the Dark. And it even has the map. Okay, and you have your check for understanding and your write about it. And the write about it is what will happen to Bilbo Baggins. The author did not tell you, so you can imagine any ending you please. Think of an ending that makes sense and write it. Try to include some dialogue between Bilbo and Gollum. And then you have your think about it, write about it, and read about it section. So that is the Scribner reading series, all except for the 2 grades that I'm missing. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, questions or comments, leave them down below. Thank you. Bye.